And let's get some more now on the social media debate. Someone that's been watching the impact of social media on our community for several years now is the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Liberal MP Andrew Wallace, is with me in the studio, and he's the co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends on Eating Disorder Awareness. Today, another step forward, do you think, in terms of creating awareness about how social media and its algorithms feed into body perceptions and eating disorders across the community?
Well, it's another step forward, Kieran. It's been a long road, but I remember going back to when Dolly Everett passed away in 2016. I convened a meeting of the Digi Group, which is all the platforms in Sydney, and dealing with the Digi Group, dealing with the big tech was like dealing with big tobacco. They totally denied that there was a problem. And this is, each day that goes along, we're realising just about the harms that social media are causing young people.
Because it's self-fulfilling, isn't it, through the algorithms, that if someone has an issue, that the things that get...
Just keeps feeding it back to them.
Keep putting on their screen is it saying, OK, this person's into this issue, let's just put it back in their face.
That's right. And when you've got an eating disorder and the internet is just keep on throwing images to you of the so-called perfect body. I'm still trying to look for that, but of people who are underweight, young girls in particular, but it's not just young girls. Young people are constantly comparing themselves to what they see on social media.
Can there be legislation to say to those tech companies, you've got to not put if you can have algorithms that are self-fulfilling when it comes to an issue, surely they have the technology to go the opposite way if someone is looking at this harmful material repeatedly?
Well, there can be. And I think this comes back to also the level of maturity that we want to see in young people who are on the internet. Now, in November of last year, David Coleman and I passed a private members bill, or moved a private members bill in the lower house to introduce age verification for online pornography, for gambling, and also a minimum age of 16 for social media. Now, the Prime Minister and the Communications Minister fought us on that. They fought us every single step of the way. So when the Labor Party are coming out now and having this great revelationary moment that, we need to be restricting social media to young people, they have been dragged kicking and screaming.
Premier Malinowskis wants a flat-out ban for anyone under 14. Do you welcome that?
I think it should be 16. The bill that David Coleman and I put up in the Parliament last year called for a ban for anybody under 16. If you're over 16, then you can access social media. We know in 10 years' time, Kieran, we're going to be looking back at the harms that we have caused our kids by allowing them to use social media.
So what are you picking up across the Parliament? Because there's an urgency to this. You've got to get it done yesterday as far as you're concerned. What are you picking up in terms of parliamentary support?
I think that there is finally a recognition on the part of the Labor Party and it's only because of the political pressure that's been brought to bear by the coalition and by peak groups. It's not just us, it's by groups that have been forcing the government's hand on this. They have literally been dragged kicking and screaming. They have not wanted to do this for reasons which have been beyond me for the last 4 years.
Peter Malinowskis, the Premier, who was in town for a Defending Australia summit, I asked him about this issue and he said, if you talk to young people, they won't want to go off social media. But if you say that everyone's off it and it's banned, well, then they would agree to that because everyone would be off
in the same boat.
Yeah.
They'll be in the same boat. And look,
do you find that from parents in your electorate and more broadly that they want this sort of thing to happen?
I receive multiple pieces of communication from parents who are pulling their hair out about the harms. I had a phone call from a dad just last night talking about the harms that it's causing their kids. And I think finally, I had Julie Inman Grant to my electorate about, 5 or 6 years ago. We had a room full of about 100 people. and most of them were grandparents, because parents at that stage weren't seized of the problem. I can tell you now, Kieran, they are seized of the problem.